Hey everyone, it's Jolt here. Sketch Your Mind is finally out. You can order your copy following the link in the video description. Now this book is unique. When Nick Milo was reading it, he commented that this is a book that clearly no one else could have written. It's at this special intersection of three topics that I don't think any other book has ever discussed. It's about visual thinking and sketchnoting. It's about note-taking and personal knowledge management. And it's about systems thinking. It blends structure with creativity and playfulness. And it places it in a system that I think is truly unique. And I guarantee you that if you read it, it's going to change the way you think. But as with every book, there are certain topics that make it into the book, and there are other topics that don't. The topic we're going to talk about today links very closely to the message of the book, but didn't make the cut. So we're going to be talking about visual frameworks. These are visual metaphors or anchors that help you structure your thinking as well as help you tell a story. Take, for example, this billiard table as our visual metaphor. And if we look at each of the pockets around the table, you will find creativity, solving tough problems, effective learning, improved collaboration, clarity and communication, and finally, big picture thinking. So this is our billiard table. And as we go further with this metaphor, then you can think of the cue as visual thinking and the white ball as the idea and information that you have that you want to work with. And when you push that ball, you hit that ball with the cue, then visual thinking catalyzes creativity in ways that text alone cannot. As your ideas and information hit these balls, then through spatial thinking, through storytelling, through organizing ideas, you unlock all these opportunities. So for example, spatial thinking links very closely to the idea of the memory palace. And this idea is that if you attach knowledge to spatial objects and locations, then you're going to be able to remember better. So for that reason, it actually helps effective learning. A simple tool like a mind map can help with that. Then storytelling through the process of storyboarding and presentations can help clarity and communication. And finally, organizing ideas can help you find patterns, and if you found the patterns, that is going to help you solve tough problems through this process. And of course the other tools as well, like creativity, big picture thinking, improved collaboration, could all be handled. Just the image was a bit too busy already, so I didn't add those arrows. And on top of all of this, there's an additional benefit, because as you create such a visual metaphor, as you fill it with data, you get an external perspective. You can step back, and this is what some people call the detachment effect. When you can look at your own thinking from an external perspective, you can do some self-reflection and metacognition, which is thinking about your thinking process. And through this, visual frameworks open up so many opportunities. It really transforms the way you tell your message, as well as it transforms the way you think about your message. And the good news I want to share with you is one of my friends who became my friend through the review of the book, one of my heroes as well, Dave Gray, has published his visual frameworks on the net. You can see here the link to visualframeworks.com/portfolio. So he has published his framework right here. So these are the same cards. And if you recall from the previous page, of course, you will find here the impact story, which is this billiard table. And I can also show you just the description of this. So Dave gives a short description to each of these cards, explaining how it works and what it's intended to demonstrate. And of course, you will find the Venn diagrams here as well. So this was the first slide that I showed you. So this is the Venn diagram. And again, there's a description of how the Venn diagram works. So what I want to share with you today is this treasure trove of frameworks that you can use to be a better storyteller, to be a better thinker. But if you're like me, you might be thinking that, Jolt, this is great, but this is too much. When I first saw this, I thought that, oh boy, this is amazing. I was looking at each of these cards and they were all great. They are just simply amazing. But when it comes down to finding the right card, it can feel a bit daunting, because until you're familiar with these, looking through all of these and making up your mind on which one to use, that can be difficult. So I want to share with you two different approaches today, how you can find the right card here. And I think these are simple and fun ways to do that. So the first one is going to involve AI. I'm actually going to make a screenshot of these cards right here. So this is all the cards. By the way, I'm going to include a link in the video description to this Excalidraw whiteboard. And here you can actually download the same Excalidraw page that I'm using. I had a discussion with Dave. He agreed that this can be published. By the way, this is everything that he has on his website, so there is nothing additional. I still recommend that if you use these, then you go ahead and purchase. Dave has these beautiful cards as well as a poster of the 100 frameworks. You can support Dave's work, and also these are just simply beautiful assets to have in your back pocket or to have on your wall in your study. So I do recommend that you do that, but I'm going to share this link in the video description. So if you want it in Excalidraw like I have it right here, you can achieve that as well. But what I want to show you is how I'm using Gemini 2.5. So this is Gemini 2.5, and this is Google's AI Studio. This is a free AI tool. You can do something similar with ChatGPT and the other AIs as well. So I've formulated here a question, and I'm now uploading this image of the frameworks. So the question is, our project is facing a difficult situation. There are two very different paths forward. Help me find the visual framework I could use to present the problem statement and the alternative solutions or courses of action. And so here what you can see is Gemini looked at this image with the roughly 108 frameworks, I don't know the number exactly, and came up with some recommendations. So Gemini recommends that either the crossroads, the decision tree, or the pros and cons could be good choices. So let's see how the crossroad looks like. I'm going to search for crossroads, and here you go. I think this is an amazing choice. So I would state the problem statement here about the difficulty the project is facing. I would place the title of the alternative solution paths here, and I would place here the steps, and this way I can present my crossroads to the project team. But let's take a look at the decision tree as well. So this is how the decision tree looks like. Again, I think this is great. Of course, this has more junctures, so this could be a bit of a different discussion, but if the different alternatives that I'm presenting about the project have these decision points, then this could be great. And finally, AI recommended the pros and cons. So this is the pros and cons. In this case, probably you would have the two options here. You would have the description here about the situation, and you would compare I'm not sure that this is actually the one I would choose, but I think the crossroads and the decision tree are indeed spot on considering the situation that I presented AI with. So I just wanted to share with you this approach that I think greatly helps in narrowing down from these over 100 frameworks to the framework that you want to use. Now, the second approach I want to share is something that came up in my discussion with Nicole van der Hoven when we were chatting earlier this week. And you could say that this second approach is called the Monte Carlo approach. It's very simple, Nicole said. So why not simply use dice and choose based on a random number? So you could actually use a random number generator and pick one of the cards and say, let's say this is the card that comes out, and you then take a look at the card and you think about how can you apply your message to this card. What this is going to do is this is going to help you find unexpected creative solutions. This is very similar to some of the creativity tricks that Edward de Bono teaches. So for example, one of the tricks that I learned from Edward de Bono is if you're stuck with a problem and you cannot find a solution, then you go to a department store and you pick up random objects, and then you look at the object and try to create a logical sequence of ideas to connect that object with your problem. And as you create this sequence or chain of inferences, ideas, that often triggers unexpected lateral thinking, and you will find new solutions. Now, what I'm saying is you can achieve the same with these visual frameworks. So you can use it either with AI or without AI, just looking at the cards and look for the best matching one and tell your story through that. And I think in many cases that is the best option. But if you're stuck, if you are playful, if you want to find unexpected solutions, then I recommend that you take dice or random number generator and you simply choose one randomly, and then you can apply your story to that card. You are guided by that framework, and I'm sure that you're going to find unexpected solutions. Already, as I'm looking at these cards and thinking about this hypothetical project, my mind is racing how I would apply it. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Just a quick reminder again, you'll find the link to order my book in the description. You'll find the link to this Excalibur drawing in the video description. And please go and check Dave's website and order the PDF or the cards so you support Dave's work and enjoy these frameworks. This is a gold mine, a real treasure trove of ideas. Dave is so generous to share it. Thank you.